In everyone's life, there comes a point which is almost like a point of no return. I'm talking about the breaking point where everything in you changes. That's something that happened to me as well, but I believe that most people who get this breaking point, they don't act on it and they let this opportunity disappear. Let me get to what I mean by this. So I was just doing some research for what type of YouTube videos I will be creating for this channel, how they work and stuff like that. And I stumbled upon this guy named Denmo from doing the research, and he's popping up. Let's jump into a video which I think really showcases the breaking point and how someone capitalized on his breaking point in his life, the max pain essentially, before turning his life around. And this is very interesting because it's the key mechanisms behind his decision and what happened afterwards that is the interesting part. So this guy has been without a girlfriend for quite a while, and he was fed up with being lonely, just looking at information, and he actually wanted like a girl. So what happened is that he reached a breaking point where he's just like, no, this sucks. I'm going to take a decision and I'm going to start talking to girls. So what he did was that he talked to one new girl every single day. Probably had a ton of anxiety along the way. It was painful as well. But the breaking point for this guy leading to this was that the pain of being lonely, the pain of having anxiety and not talking to people and not socializing was greater than the pain of just walking up to a girl and saying hi. So he started at the New Year's resolution. He approached girls and the goal was one girl per day. After 81 girls, because he approached multiple girls once he got the momentum rolling, he had a girlfriend by January 27. It took him 27 days to find not just any girlfriend, but the most beautiful, fun, and compatible girlfriend that he has ever had a shot at. So this video is not about girls or any of that, but it's the mechanisms behind it, which is one simple thing, one daily step, the one thing you should do every day. So no matter if it's building a business or building relationships or finding the girl or getting your dream job or perhaps quitting your job and starting that business, it's the one thing you can do that will change everything for you. And you can't really force anyone else to do it for you as well or for them because there needs to be a tipping point, the breaking point. What is your breaking point? Have you ever felt the breaking point in your life? I sure have. And just my personal story was that I was working as an engineer at a job. And after a few years, I was quite fed up with it. I was fed up with the meetings. I was fed up with the constantly rotating bosses. Some were good, some were asses. It just turned to shit. And I hated it. And I think a lot of people who have been engineers or even just a regular job at a 9 to 5, they fucking hate it. And I can relate. That was not enough for me to reach the breaking point. The breaking point for me was actually a ton of different shit happening in my life at the same time. My mother getting cancer. My car broke down not twice, thrice, which ate up all of my savings and stuff like that. I've been through a ton of shit. And that was my breaking point, where it's like, what the fuck is the meaning of anything? Like, I did the correct thing. I went to the job. I got the degree. I got the house. I got the kid. Blah, blah, blah. But just like one car breakdown from being broke, that was what set something in me. And that was my breaking point. The pain of just being too average, the pain of just being one car breakdown from being broke. Like, it doesn't matter if you have that job, you're still broke, you're still a slave. And that led me to take action. What kind of action did I do? I took one step, just learning more. Like, okay, there needs to be more to it. So I started reading books. That's what I started doing. One book led to the next second book and to the third book and the fourth book, and I become obsessed. Like, shit, is this how the world works? Is this how money works? Is this how blah 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 work? Which led me to try to start a side hustle, which failed. Which led me to try another side hustle, which failed. Which led me to try several other side hustles until one became successful, and I quit my job, and here I am. I do whatever I want with my time. Everything just flows. So the valuable insights I want you to take away from this video is that if you feel that you have hit a breaking point, you need to reflect on what it was and why you didn't act on it. If you have not yet had it, then I think before you can change your life, you need to have it. You need to have max pain in your life before you can change it around. Otherwise, you will be not motivated to go through hardships. As in the girlfriend example as well, you will not be motivated to face rejection and fear because the pain pushing you behind is not good enough. It's not great enough. That is why most people, I think, will fail as well on online business. They don't have a driver. They don't have a big enough reason, a desire, or a pain point to push. But this entire thing here, this video, is about doing one thing and doing it consistently every day. So that means that if you can crystallize this entire video, it's just this. You do one thing that takes you just a tiny bit closer to your goal. And you do this every single day, and you will become better. You will improve. Anxiety and fear will go down, as this case with talking to a pretty girl or just starting a side hustle in a business. You're just doing one thing on that business every single day. Of course, you can't just do a ton of shit on the wrong things. Like, I'm going to sit and design a logo for 8 hours. No, that is also a big waste of time, and you're actually focusing on the wrong things. And you might feel that you got some progress of just doing that thing, but it doesn't really move you forward. It's the same as if this guy in this example would have just consumed a ton of YouTube videos about how to approach a girl. That would also be a waste because he would feel productive, but he's not actually taking action or doing the thing because he's still scared. So just doing the one thing. That's why I am doing YouTube videos as well, just off the cuff, trying to talk without interruptions, because I know that putting in the reps will make me a better talker, more charismatic, getting more energy, working on my voice. So just one step at a time. Now, if this video resonated with you, then you should definitely join my community. I have a link below, and I'll be sharing some good tips and nuggets that I've been able to crystallize from a ton of different entrepreneurs and other people, taken the best bits and implemented them into a system that works for my life, and I think it will work for you. So until the next video, stay tuned.